Everything is spiraling. Secrets are boiling under the surface, trust is cracking, and Dexter Morgan is inching closer to a confrontation he may not walk away from. Episode 6 of Dexter. Resurrection is shaping up to be the most explosive chapter yet, because when the past collides with the present, blood is always spilled. The stakes have never been higher, the lies never deeper, and the watchful eyes never more alert. Buckle up, because things are about to detonate. Episode 6 opens with a thick cloud of paranoia. The walls are closing in, not just for Dexter, but for everyone caught in his orbit. Red, whose presence has grown more volatile by the hour, is under more scrutiny than ever before. The tension between him and Charlie continues to build, and Mia, now locked up and simmering with secrets, is a ticking time bomb. She knows too much. The question is, how much will she tell? And to whom? Lola's death is the match that lights the fuse. It wasn't just another body. It was a message, a turning point. Mia saw it. She knows Red was nearby. That changes everything. Whether or not Red is guilty almost becomes irrelevant. Perception is the real killer here. The narrative is writing itself, and Charlie is beginning to connect the dots. His instincts, once dulled by familiarity and denial, are now sharp and active. He may not have proof, but suspicion is a powerful weapon. Red can feel it. And in the world of Dexter, when people feel cornered, they lash out. Meanwhile, Harrison is slipping into dangerous emotional territory. His crisis of identity is no longer an internal struggle. It's manifesting in his behavior. He's pulling away from people, questioning everything he thought he knew about his father, about himself, about morality. The ghost of Dexter's legacy haunts him daily, but now that legacy feels more real, more immediate. Harrison's trying to carve out his own identity, but every path leads back to blood, and he's starting to feel that maybe the darkness isn't something he can escape. Maybe it's something he has to embrace. And while all of this personal chaos brews beneath the surface, Dexter has locked onto his next potential target, the narcissistic killer dubbed the Yemen Butcher. This man doesn't just kill, he enjoys the attention. He taunts, he mocks, and he makes himself visible, begging for the spotlight. It's the kind of behavior that Dexter despises most, not just because it's cruel, but because it's sloppy, dangerous, reckless. A killer like that is a threat to everyone, not just his victims. Dexter sees him as a challenge, a test of control, of purpose, and of survival. But as Dexter starts to hunt this new monster, he's also being hunted. Batista, a name long buried in Dexter's past, is stirring up old ghosts. He's been drawing connections, ones the authorities have long ignored or dismissed, and now those connections are pointing straight to New York. He's technically out of jurisdiction, but that's not stopping him. When Batista believes something, he doesn't let go. He knows how the Bay Harbor Butcher thinks, and what's more terrifying, he suspects he knows who he is. That knowledge alone puts him in the crosshairs of whatever Dexter is becoming now. But there's one key complication. Batista doesn't have the power to make arrests or command resources. So, he's playing a long game, pressuring local detectives, nudging the media, and whispering just enough to stir the waters. Every move he makes is calculated to shake the foundation of Dexter's new world. And slowly, it's working. Every eye that turns toward Dexter, every shadow that follows him, it's all part of Batista's invisible war. This is no longer a story about a man trying to live a quiet life. Episode 6 makes that brutally clear. This is a countdown. A fuse lit long ago is burning toward its explosive end. Every character is a spark. Every lie, every secret, every quiet glance or tense conversation is soaked in gasoline. Harrison is imploding, Red is unraveling, Mia is preparing to detonate, and Batista is circling like a hawk. And Dexter? He's trying to stay one step ahead, but the steps are narrowing. As this episode unfolds, one thing becomes painfully clear. No one is safe. No relationship is untouchable, and no truth stays buried forever. the heat turns blistering as we slide deeper into the chaos of Dexter. Resurrection Episode 6. Red is running out of space to breathe. Every move he makes now is being tracked. By Charlie, by Mia's haunting silence, and maybe even by Dexter himself. The once charismatic Red, who could manipulate his way out of anything with a smile and a spin, is now cracking. The pressure is revealing who he really is, or at least who he's desperately trying to hide. The swagger is fading. The paranoia is growing. His mask is slipping, and in a world built on secrets, once the mask slips, there's no putting it back. Mia may be behind bars, but don't let that fool you. She holds the most power right now. That woman knows where the bodies are buried, both literally and figuratively. Her time with Charlie, with Red, and even the glimpse she got into Dexter's dark presence has given her leverage. If she talks, she could set off a chain reaction that rips through every false truth these men have built. And let's be clear, Mia's silence has never been about loyalty. It's about timing. She's biding her moment, waiting until it benefits her most. This episode flirts with the terrifying idea that Mia isn't done playing her part in this deadly game. In fact, she may be just getting started. Her mind is sharp. Her trauma has calcified into strategy. What looks like fear is actually focus. And her interactions with the prison therapist and visiting officials might just be part of a bigger play. She knows that spilling partial truths creates curiosity. She drops hints, not confessions. That's intentional. She's baiting the trap, and Red might be the first to walk into it. Meanwhile, Charlie, sweet, well-meaning Charlie, is finally beginning to wake up. He's ignored the warning signs for too long, brushed off the inconsistencies, told himself stories to justify Red's actions. But Lola's death, Mia's arrest, and the silence in Red's eyes are starting to chip away at his blind faith. There's a subtle but powerful shift in his demeanor. He's more careful now, more observant. He's stopped asking questions and started watching, and that's far more dangerous. Charlie may not have the cunning of Dexter or the ruthlessness of Red, but he has something far more explosive: access. He knows things, where they were, what they did, and when the final pieces start to click into place in his mind, he may very well become the unexpected wild card of this entire season. If Charlie turns, everything collapses. Red knows this too. You can see it in the way he starts isolating Charlie, gaslighting him, and subtly threatening him under the guise of protecting the truth. It's a manipulation dance Red's done before. But this time, Charlie might not fall for it. In the shadows of all this tension, Dexter remains calculated and quiet. He's watching all the chaos unfold, but he's not rushing in. That's not his style. He knows that timing is everything. And while he's keeping tabs on Red and Mia, his attention is being pulled toward the Yemen Butcher, an entirely separate storm brewing on the edge of town. This killer is flashy, cocky, and desperate to be noticed. Everything about him screams danger, not just because of the murders, but because of the message behind them. They're staged. The bodies aren't just killed, they're presented. And for someone like Dexter, that's a red flag and a personal challenge. The more Dexter digs, the more disturbing the similarities become. The killer's narcissism mirrors his own past impulses. Before the code, before Harry's voice took over, it's almost like this new predator is what Dexter could have become if he had no control, no rules, no reason to hide. And that reflection? It terrifies him. Because deep down, Dexter knows he's always been a heartbeat away from becoming the very monster he hunts. Back in the NYPD offices, Batista is slowly tightening the noose. He's not making big moves yet, just enough to shake the ground under Dexter's feet. He's pulling old case files, re-interviewing retired officers, and pushing new detectives to question the patterns in the recent murders. His questions don't sound accusatory. Yet. But there's an edge to them. A weight. Every inquiry is designed to test reactions, to stir ghosts, and Dexter, as careful as he is, can't control every variable. You can feel it all coming to a boiling point. The lies, the whispers, the shared glances. Everything that's been simmering for the last 5 episodes is now bubbling, threatening to spill over. Red is desperate to stay ahead. Mia is calculating her next move. Charlie is finally seeing the truth. Batista is closing in. And Dexter? He's preparing, sharpening his mind like a blade. Because when everything explodes, and it will, only one person is walking away clean. As episode 6 unravels, the most haunting transformation isn't Dexter's. It's Harrison's. The emotional weight on his shoulders has become unbearable. The son of a serial killer, trying to forge a normal life, is now staring down the same path his father once walked. But Harrison isn't Dexter. He's not methodical. He's not restrained. He doesn't have a code, and he's never had a Harry to guide him. What he has is confusion, rage, abandonment, and a deep, festering fear that the darkness inside him isn't just inherited, it's unstoppable. In this episode, we see Harrison's internal collapse begin to show externally. He's skipping meetings, ignoring calls, pushing away the very few people who care. And worst of all, he's starting to romanticize Dexter's past. The idea that his father wasn't just a killer, but a righteous killer, begins to seduce him. He doesn't talk about it out loud, but the signs are all there. The way he stares at crime scenes too long, the way he studies news reports like puzzles. He isn't trying to solve crimes, he's trying to understand them. He's trying to feel something that makes sense, because everything else in his life has stopped making sense. Dexter sees this shift. He's been through it. He knows the signs. But instead of guiding Harrison away from the cliff, Dexter is distracted, torn between the chaos Red is creating, the danger Mia poses, and the looming shadow of the Yemen Butcher. There's too much happening at once. And for the first time in a long time, Dexter feels overwhelmed. Not emotionally, but strategically. There are too many pieces in motion, and if he moves too soon or too late, everything collapses. And yet, the most devastating battle Dexter faces isn't with a killer or a detective, it's with himself. The return to New York, the reappearance of Batista, the emergence of a new sadistic killer, it's all pulling him back to who he used to be. The itch is stronger now. The urge to kill, the need to clean up what others can't. And it's not just about the Yemen Butcher. It's about control, purpose. That feeling he used to live for, the sense that he mattered, even if only in the shadows. But things have changed. This isn't the same Dexter from Miami. He has Harrison now, a son who's unraveling, a son who mirrors every flaw Dexter spent years trying to suppress. Dexter wants to protect him. But to do that, he might have to lie to him again, maybe even kill for him. And once you start making those kinds of compromises, the code doesn't feel like a moral compass anymore. It feels like an excuse. Meanwhile, Red's spiral is accelerating. Desperation has turned him reckless. He knows people are watching. He knows Mia might talk. And Charlie? Charlie's distance is unbearable. Red is trying to keep him close, to maintain some illusion of loyalty, but that grip is loosening. Red's not used to being the one on the defensive, and it's driving him to do dangerous, stupid things, like showing up where he shouldn't, pressuring people he shouldn't, making threats that sound less like bluffs and more like promises. And Mia, behind those cold prison walls, continues to scheme. The interrogations grow more intense. She's no longer scared, she's strategic. Every tear is calculated. Every pause before a name drop is deliberate. She's playing her captors, playing her case, and possibly playing everyone else. And there's a chilling possibility that Mia wants Red to go down, not because she fears him, but because she needs him out of the way. For something bigger, something darker. Charlie, now burdened by guilt and suspicion, finds himself at a crossroads. He has pieces of the puzzle, but not enough to see the full picture. He doesn't know whether Dexter is a friend or a silent threat. He doesn't know if Red is dangerous or just lost. But one thing is becoming clear. Silence isn't protecting anyone anymore. And the more he keeps his mouth shut, the more likely it is that someone else ends up dead. And hovering over all of this is Batista, calm, steady, relentless. He's not slamming down doors, he's not flashing badges, he's just present. Always in the right room, always asking the right question, always looking. He knows the truth is close, and his slow, methodical pressure is making sure that when it finally cracks, there's no way for Dexter, or anyone else, to put it back together. The final moments of this episode hint at collisions that can't be avoided. Harrison's pain is building towards something dangerous. Red is on the verge of making a move he can't walk back from. Mia is preparing a revelation that could burn everything down. Charlie is closer than ever to discovering a truth he may not survive. And Dexter, for all his precision, is surrounded by enemies, suspicion, and one undeniable fact. His past isn't just catching up, it's sprinting. The final stretch of Dexter. Resurrection Episode 6 is less about action and more about pressure. Intense, suffocating, unbearable pressure. Every character is now cornered. Every mask is cracking. Every secret is threatening to erupt. The illusion of control that's kept these people breathing is now vanishing minute by minute. For Dexter, the walls are closing in fast. His instincts scream to act, to take out the Yemen Butcher, to silence Red, to keep Harrison close and Batista at bay. But if he moves too soon, it could trigger a full collapse. His mind, usually a chessboard of controlled decisions, is now cluttered. He's juggling too much. Harrison's downward spiral is a personal failure he can't ignore. And worst of all, Dexter is starting to feel something he hasn't in a long, long time. Fear. Not fear of being caught, but fear of losing his son. Fear that this second chance he carved out for himself is slipping through his bloody fingers. And that's the true tragedy at the core of Episode 6. Dexter didn't just come back to New York to kill. He came back for Harrison, to make things right. But the universe he walked into isn't forgiving. It's unforgiving. And it's making sure that every lie he's ever told, every body he's ever dumped, every truth he's ever buried, comes screaming back in stereo. As for Harrison, his emotional detachment is reaching terrifying levels. He's becoming colder, quieter. He's not reacting to death anymore the way a normal teen would. And that terrifies Dexter. The same patterns, the same numbness, the same darkness are surfacing in his son's eyes. The very thing Dexter tried to suppress in himself is now living, breathing, and growing in Harrison. The only difference? Harrison doesn't have the code. He doesn't know how to channel it. He's just feeling it. And when emotion and darkness blend without structure, the result is chaos. There's a heart-wrenching moment in this episode. Dexter watching Harrison from afar, realizing that this isn't just a teenager having an identity crisis. This is a legacy unfolding. A dark one. A dangerous one. And Dexter, for the first time, questions if he can stop it, or if he already failed before he even began. Red, meanwhile, is spiraling so violently that he's no longer a threat to others, he's a threat to himself. His desperation leads him to confront Charlie in a scene dripping with menace. He tries to pull Charlie back into his corner, spinning lies, weaponizing guilt, threatening with half-truths. But Charlie, he's done. The fear in his eyes is gone. All that's left now is resolve. The moment Red realizes that Charlie is no longer scared, he knows he's lost control. And a man like Red, when cornered, doesn't surrender. He attacks. Mia is about to go nuclear. Episode 6 ends with her poised to drop a truth bomb, one that could change the entire narrative. Whether she does it out of vengeance, strategy, or desperation remains unclear. But one thing is certain. She holds information that no one else does, and if she speaks, lives will be destroyed. She's had her silence bought, threatened, and bargained with. Now, it's no longer about survival. It's about power. For the first time in this story, Mia holds the power, and she knows it. Batista, too, is no longer just investigating. He's circling. Every conversation he has now drips with implication. He's not chasing shadows anymore. He's focused, precise. When he mentions Miami to a local officer, when he talks about patterns in the victims, he's not fishing, he's confirming. His theory? It's no longer a theory. He believes Dexter is alive, he believes Dexter is back, and now he's one step away from proving it. The episode ends on a chilling cliffhanger. Dexter, standing in the dark, watching two figures from a distance. One of them Harrison, the other unknown. The expression on Dexter's face is unreadable. Not fear, not anger, something deeper, something like helplessness. A rare emotion for him. And as the camera pulls away, we're left with one overwhelming truth. There's no more running, no more hiding, no more pretending. Episode 6 leaves every character teetering on the edge of destruction. Dexter's dual lives are colliding, Harrison's descent is accelerating, Red is out of control, Mia is ready to set fire to everything, Charlie holds a secret he doesn't even fully understand, and Batista? Batista is about to pull the trigger on a truth the world isn't ready for. Everything is about to explode, and when it does, no one will escape unscathed.